Hi, Lightbrite. How you doing? A little bit more about my logic and my take on our file, or my husband's claim. If you watch my other 4 videos, I am the wife of a seriously injured worker who was a faller and had a tree fall on the left side of his head, breaking his skull where they had to put hinges and everything in there. I just want you to listen to this for a second. Listen.
Because this is just crazy. This is just crazy. You guys haven't figured out why he's getting headaches.
Not WCB's job to figure it out. It's the medical community's job.
What is your job?
My job is to make sure that James gets all that he is entitled to.
Okay, you're for Jamie.
No, I'm not for James. I'm not for the worker or the employer. I'm here to adjudicate what he's entitled to.
I hope you heard that. I'm going to listen to it and see if this is going to be edited out or not. If I can't hear it, I'll change this. If you guys can actually hear it when I do a replay, I'm going to keep it in there. But that was Colin, our case manager, and I was arguing with him about my husband's bad migraine headaches that he had been getting ever since, and still does, by the way, his injury. And Colin was just telling me that Dr. Collier, his specialist that he had sent Jamie to, told the board that Jamie needs to be off narcotics for several months in order to rule out rebound as being the cause of his headaches. He also, if you heard in one of my other chapters there, chapter 3, he also prescribed my husband a book called How to Handle Your Headaches, or something like that. Anyways, as reading triggers headaches, it made no sense. He also had, Dr. Collier also had said he does not treat patients with pills. And then in the next instance, he's got Jamie trying 4 to 6 different kinds of medication. Not narcotic, mind you, but stuff like epileptic seizure medications and just to slow your whole thing down there. Anyways, I was having that phone conversation with Colin, and he was telling me that until the time, he had sent me a letter saying until such time as Jamie has actually stopped the narcotics as requested by Dr. Collier, there was nothing to discuss. So then I was kind of like, well, we already did that. I sent him a letter. I did a review and all that stuff. In it, I had another doctor telling him that Jamie did go off his narcotics for so many weeks, and he figures he would rule out narcotics. But that wasn't the WCB doctor. The WCB doctor was Dr. Collier, and that is what I got upset about, because what can you do for that? You can't do anything. If he's just going to take the word of that doctor, then what's going on? And then he said that I could get any specialist that I wanted to see Jamie, but he didn't have to pay for it. That made me a little bit upset. But that, what you just heard a little minute ago, that was Colin, our case manager, saying that he isn't there for the worker or the employer. He is there for the insurance company to adjudicate the proper regulations and procedures. So that's how they do it. But as I was arguing with him, I slipped in there that, Colin, he's got to do all this stuff, and the way I have to keep him going to be able to function is flashcards continuously. The information has to go in front of him continuously. He has to write things down continuously. He has memory problems. This was done in July 04. No, July 03, actually. This tape recording was July 03. That's when it was. And I was already arguing with Colin that I was noticing headaches, dizziness, not only that, but memory problems with my husband, like major memory problems. We're now into, 2009, and the board did, after a whole bunch of stuff, has actually put him through many tests, many tests. I have many reports now, and we do know that he does have a memory problem. He doesn't retain memory. So what he does is he has an external memory book that he writes memories down. So I can never make memories with him. I can just make memories for me. Now he makes these, my husband writes these memories down, and I do have a box, and I file them away. I put them away. But you know what? He's never going to ask me for one of them books. Ever. He hasn't even realized that I have a box with his memories in it. Because you cannot remember what you can't remember. And that was the hardest fight that I've ever had to actually explain to somebody. But I'll get back to that in a little bit. In a little bit, though, I think. As I was still on the incident with Dr. Collier in the book, and trying to tell them that I did have Jamie's doctor take him off the meds and the whole bit. He said that's what he's going to do anyways. But I want to show you this book. And let's see, we're into 6 minutes here, so I'll see how far I can get in this. But this was a review of the decision that was really early on in Jamie's injury, and it was about it's the board's decision regarding my husband's request for a sponsorship in a 2-year automotive service technician course, and along with the board's decision regarding the worker's entitlement to ongoing temporary wage loss benefits. Now they said no. That's it. So I got the review decision, right? Got the review decision right here. And I sent that letter, and I appealed this one. So that appeal came with all this. I put this in, and I actually substantiated every question that they had with a proper doctor's certificate and proper forms. I'm going to read you some of that right here, so you'll actually be in the same place that I was. But you have to remember that every time that I do pull these out and I'm looking through them, it was a very, very hard time for me. And it is still a hard time for me because I am still dealing with this injury, as is my husband. And this is the way it's going to be now forever. So we just have to adjust and adapt. And it's pretty hard. Anyways, the letter of the decision, the letter that I wrote for the argument's sake for my husband, this is it. And this was written to the Workers' Compensation Appeal Tribunal, all right? I'll just read it. Having acknowledged receipt of the March 10th decision, there were the following 2 issues with respect to the review officer's review, which we wish to contest. One was the decision to the request for sponsorship into a 2-year program for retraining, and the second one was the decision regarding the ongoing entitlement to temporary wage loss benefits. As this is a provincial decision respecting the matter of vocational rehabilitation, we wish to submit for your consideration the following. Now I did some background so that the person that was reading this letter would have some background on Jamie, and this is what I wrote. James started in the bush in '87 at the age of 15 3/4 for Whiskey Jack Logging as a chokerman, making $16.87 an hour. He worked there for 2 years, then started with Ed Copeland in 1990 as a hook tender. His starting wage was $19.50. 3 years later, he's making $25.60. Still employed with the same man. In 1991, James left Ed to further his career as a faller. James had various jobs as fallers, paying from $2.50 to $3.50 per day. In '95, he took the position of faller for Paul Gagne Logging, where he was paid $260 a day plus benefits until the time of his unfortunate accident on March 20, 2003. This ended his lucrative career as a logger with no chance of returning to his career or his occupation. That was a little bit of background, but I'm going to have to say so long. It's the end of chapter 4. I am, however, going to re-in and call it chapter 5, and I'm going to take this letter and read it all to you so that you may have the whole story of our take on the road that we had to take, a journey that is still not very pleasant to this day, 6 years later. So, Lightbrite Logic. Thanks all. Good night.